to New Rockstars. I'm Erik Voss, and we need to talk about Galactus in Fantastic Four First Steps. Spoiler warning if you have not seen the film yet. And if you have questions about why New Rockstars talks about film spoilery things as early as we do, hey, we went into our editorial decision making around this stuff in tomorrow's episode of our Danger Room podcast in our underground audio subscription service. If you'd like to support us doing that kind of behind the scenes shop talk, we'd appreciate your support. Link in the description. Really, I just plugged all of that to give people time to leave. But yes, Fantastic Four First Steps ends with the Four successfully pushing Galactus into a teleportation portal opened by their bridge device. While Galactus nearly comes back out in those 37 seconds, Silver Surfer swoops in and says, "No, you stay down." Reed had suggested earlier that Galactus would be sent to the far edges of the universe, but where exactly does Galactus go? What happens to him? And when will we see him next? In this video, I'm going to explain some details about Galactus in this movie that we might have overlooked. After the Fantastic Four's first plan to try to teleport Earth to a different solar system fails due to the Silver Surfer blowing up most of the bridge devices worldwide, Reed comes up with another plan to lure Galactus into their one remaining bridge, using Franklin as bait and teleport Galactus away from the planet. Ben Grimm asks where, and Reed says, to the far edges of the universe. Without his ship, he'll be stranded. And then the scene essentially does a, but never mind that, and moves on to the Franklin as bait of it all. Meanwhile, I'm in the back of the room wondering, hey, can we circle back to where the edge of the universe is? And is it very far? How do we know where the edge is? And why do we assume a 14 billion-year-old space god we know very little about will be stranded without his ship? Doesn't this move amount to like a punt from the 50-yard line, followed by heading back to the locker room to throw Gatorade on our coach? I think we could assume that Reed Richards has a pretty expansive view of the cosmic geography of the 828 universe. He was able to effectively track the Silver Surfer using her energy signature. He regularly receives extraterrestrial radio signals in his observation room. He has a full star map filled with known various planets and star systems labeled by alphanumeric codes. And most importantly, even at the modestly early year of 1965, he has invented faster than light travel via an FTL engine that the Excelsior ship docks with, capable of opening wormholes that bend through space-time. This is a huge deal. We also don't know for how long Reed has had this technology, because he doesn't seem too daunted by the feasibility of the mission when he proposes going out to space to meet Galactus. In their initial launch, docking with FTL and going through the wormhole, you get the sense that this whole crew has done this several times. One such mission is obviously the mission in 1961 that gave them their powers. Reed in this movie carries a lot of guilt over that.
Obviously, while we were in space, due to errors on my part, we encountered a cosmic storm that altered our DNA. We came back with anomalies.
In a comic run by Dan Slott in 2019, the fateful mission that they went on was to use the faster-than-light rocket, the Marvel 1, to visit an Earth-like planet named Spire in a solar system 44 light-years away. Being this far along in interstellar technology has always been part of Reed's knowledge base. And in this film, Reed's original plan was to teleport the Earth to a different solar system within a 2% margin of error range of habitable life, which he said would take Galactus millions of years to find. I think this is a reference to Spire in the binary solar system that it's in, and maybe other planets in similar habitable zones like Earth's that Reed must have a database of. I also wondered if Reed might have been saying, if Galactus ever comes close to us again, we could just teleport again and we would just stay vigilant. But that millions number suggests to me that Reed has an expansive enough map of the universe that he could comfortably relocate Galactus to some other distant corner of it while having another millions of years of freedom from Galactus. But I also doubt they'll get that long. Galactus is coming back. The background of the portal that Galactus goes through has a general starscape backdrop, but there doesn't seem to be any planets around. But since the Silver Surfer pushed him back through that hole, we have to assume that she is there with him wherever he is. Reed posits that without his ship, Galactus would be stranded. Indeed, the world ship, also known as Ta-2, is very important to Galactus. It's how he destroys planets, and he needs the ship's elemental converter machinery to sustain his hunger. Now, this movie uses the term hunger, but we don't know if Galactus literally will starve to death if he doesn't eat planets, or if there's just a deeper, more spiritual cosmic hunger that drives him, kind of like a cursed itch that he can't help but scratch. But it does seem like he needs this ship to travel. The Fantastic Four do not remove their helmets while they're on this ship, suggesting it doesn't have breathable oxygen, and Galactus doesn't need air. He could survive just fine in space, but he doesn't really seem to have any kind of inner propulsion system on his armor that would enable him to fly through space at any useful speed. He cannot himself open wormholes or black holes and use those to teleport the way we saw the Celestials were able to do at the end of the Eternals film. But Silver Surfer seems to be able to move at great speeds, faster than light even, but she cannot tow Galactus with her through those wormholes. He's just too big. But one thing Galactus does have, even without his ship, is the power cosmic. And this movie does seem to broaden and redefine what the power cosmic is. We see Galactus at one point using a kind of telekinesis to halt the Fantastic Car in midair. We also know the power cosmic can apparently cause women to go into labor prematurely. He also has the ability to transfer the power cosmic to another herald who could help him rebuild his means of transportation or allow him to travel interstellarly. I don't really drink anymore, but summer is a time when there's barbecues and pool parties and a whole bunch of other times where I'd like to be able to have a margarita without worrying about being off my game the next day. Pre-alcohol from Z-Biotics lets me enjoy a drink without worrying about the morning after. Z-Biotics Pre-Alcohol Probiotic is the world's first genetically engineered probiotic. It was invented by PhD scientists to tackle rough mornings after drinking. Here's how it works. When you drink, alcohol gets converted into a toxic byproduct in the gut. It's this byproduct, not dehydration, that's to blame for your rough next day. Pre-alcohol produces an enzyme to break this byproduct down. Just remember to make pre-alcohol your first drink of the night, drink responsibly, and you'll feel your best tomorrow. To get some pre-alcohol of your own, just click the link in the description below to get 15% off your first order at checkout, plus free shipping. Z-Biotics offers a 100% money-back guarantee. If you're not satisfied for any reason, they'll refund your money, no questions asked. Galactus's first words to the Four are important to revisit. I was once little like you, billions of years ago, a man from another world. Galactus's backstory in this film is intended to be 100% comic accurate, at least based on my interviews with the director Matt Shackman, who impressively rattled off Galactus's exact backstory as Galen of Ta, even though not all of those components come up in the movie's scripted dialogue.
Galactus' story is quite different than Celestial's. You know, he was Galen of Ta, a scientist who tried to survive the big crunch, you know, the end of his universe, and he was reborn into this universe as Galactus, as this, you know, cosmic force that devours planets.
If Galactus is as old as the universe itself, 14 billion years, since he hatched into this universe during the Big Bang, Galactus would know what every corner of the universe looks like. Astronomers speculate that everything that currently exists in the universe existed at the point of the Big Bang, just in a very condensed form, and expanded outward at an infinite rate. Theoretically, you could teleport Galactus anywhere in the universe, and he would look at a specific constellation or a star and say, oh, I know this street corner. I just remember it when it was more compacted and like stacked on top of a billion other street corners. But you know, I've been here this whole time and I know this one really well and how it has spread out over the eons. I think we also have to assume that Galactus's armor or his power cosmic has a way of locating back to the world ship via a homing beacon. So that would create another dilemma. What the hell are the Fantastic Four going to do with Galactus's world ship that presumably is still in Earth's orbit at the end of this movie? In the Easter egg breakdown, I suggested that Reed should either dismantle it or hide it in the black hole or even shrink it, because we can assume they have some shrinking tech based on the post-credit cartoon show that was based on their real world battles. But perhaps the most revelatory line from Reed was this when he's arguing with Sue. He says, I don't dream, I don't wonder. I invite the worst possible thing in my head to figure out how to hurt them before they hurt anyone else. There is no way a fatalist genius like Reed Richards would just throw away the ancient technology of Galactus's ship, especially if his son is confirmed to inherit that power cosmic that Galactus said he had. Reed said he would need 10 years to study all of Galactus's technology to fully understand Galactus's nature. And since the post-credit scene in this movie is 4 years later, we are already 4 years into that 10. Reed is gonna keep this ship to study it at least, maybe even keep it as a backup weapon to keep other hostile worlds in check. While Earth 828 has reached global demilitarization, that peace mindset doesn't extend to other planets threatening to end our way of life. We also have to remember that on Reed's chalkboard, he wondered if using the bridge this way might actually open a portal to another dimension. I think we can assume based on the egg just teleporting from one space to another spot that we're really just talking about in-universe teleportation, but who knows, something on that scale combined with Galactus's power cosmic might transport him to an entirely different universe. We don't know yet, but it is possible. But if he stayed in universe 828, I think that leaves this place in a pretty fun position, at least on the other side of the incursion threats we're about to explore in Doomsday and Secret Wars, a good place to return to Earth 828 where Galactus could still be alive and still be somewhere out there making his way back to us. Galactus should never die. He should always be a forever cosmic force to threaten us, to advise us, to negotiate with us, and to just be to us a big ol' sassy bitch. Avengers Doomsday is confirmed to be set at least partially in Universe 828 according to the cast, who told Collider that they had other Avenger actors on set with them in the Baxter building. So if Doomsday uses part of the 828 universe, it just got even likelier that Galactus could also make an appearance in Doomsday and Secret Wars. So where did Galactus go? Somewhere where he can definitely come back on screen. And based on Reed's science, he has either been sent to another universe universe, or to that same solar system where Reed was going to send Earth to, the binary solar system of Core and Kalo, a street that Galactus knows as well as the block where Maisie's is to Ben. Comment down below with your thoughts, and a special thanks to one of our YouTube members, Marisa Miranda, who supports us at the executive producer level. Follow me at Erik Voss and subscribe to all the channels in the New Rockstars network for breakdowns and news coverage of everything you love. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.